Hey guys, I thought I would try to keep up with the summer movie season and do some vlogs. I wanted to start last week with Maleficent, but I ran into some technical trouble and couldn't render the review. So we're starting this week with The Fault in Our Stars.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does. It's just not the truth.
Keep in mind, I have not read the book yet, so I will be judging the film purely on its own merits. And this is something I didn't know until literally right before I went to go see the movie. That the book was written by John Green, who is one half of the Vlogbrothers. And I can't say I'm a huge fan. But I've seen some of their videos. Really liked them. Loved the nerd jokes. And I had no idea that John had written a bunch of books. So that's great. So going in, this movie started out out of the gate. Kind of left a bad impression on me because it starts off with the narration saying, most of the time when you see stories like this, stories about tragedy, it's bad things happen to beautiful people, but it's never too bad that it can't be solved with a Peter Gabriel song. And I love those stories just as much as the next person, but it's not real life. This is real life, and that I do not like when movies start out that way because, well, first of all, this is not real life. It's still a movie, it's still a book, it's still fiction. You can tell it a little more realistically than some other stories, but it's still fiction. And that was kind of the same problem I had with the beginning of Maleficent. Because Maleficent started out right away saying, oh, this is a story that you know very well, but you may not know it as well as you think you do, which, no! Don't start off saying how different your movie is. If the movie really is innovative and unique, it should stand on its own, and you shouldn't have to say how different it is. And so I guess that was my fear going into The Fault in Our Stars, was that it was going to feel like it was trying to be different, but was actually not really all that different from anything else. And for the first, it started out kind of bad, because it started out with the girl, who is still very pretty. Like, let's not, and she, talking about how disillusioned she is, and she rolls her eyes at all the incompetent adults around her who don't know what she really needs, even though they've been in medicine for years. They don't understand because she has quietly come to accept her fate, that she will die eventually, and all of the good things will come to an end, and that's all we have, and so she knows so much better than everyone else around her, and she would rather die than go to the support group, which is led by a Christian who is such a dork because he loves Jesus and he sings songs about how much he loves Jesus. What a loser. And she rolls her eyes and, oh, but there's a boy in the cancer support group who is handsome and charming, and he also knows so much better than all the other people in the room. So of course they find each other because they're so much wiser than everybody else. That was about the first 5-10 minutes of the movie for me. But then, somewhere along the way, I sort of forgot that I was watching a movie. It stopped being such a cliche fest, and it really did feel like I was watching the lives of these two people, not even characters, people, unfold. Which was great, really refreshing. Apart from one scene at the very end. And I won't tell you what it is, but it, like Gus stands up and he gives a speech, and nobody talks that way. Especially not in that situation. And they would never get away with what they got away with in the movie if this was real life. And it stuck out so much for me because the movie up until that point had started to feel very real and ring very true. And when that scene happened, I was just such a disappointment. But you know, other than that, it really did feel like I was just watching a sequence of events unfold in these people's lives. And the first scene that really sold me on these characters was the one where they exchanged books, and you know, Gus says that he will read Hazel's book if she will read his favorite book, which is you know, her favorite book is kind of a highbrow philosophical novel. I can't remember what it's called, Imminent something. And his favorite book is the novelization of his favorite video game. And I guess because it felt, first of all, it made him feel less like a pretty boy love interest and more like a person with real passion and interests. And she doesn't roll her eyes at the counterinsurgents, the book. She picks it up and she reads it, and he reads her book, and suddenly they have something to talk about, and it felt like I was watching the beginning of a relationship. Also, a big thing that helped the movie feel, like it said, not just like beautiful people with mild inconveniences, was that Hazel had the oxygen tank and had to carry it around everywhere, and it really did feel like a burden. I really wish that Isaac had been more of a character, you know, not only because he was a likable character, but because the three of them had nice chemistry, and when they did have a scene together, it felt like they were close, and I very much bought the friendship between all three of them. And you know, maybe it's just because of the runtime. You know, this is a long movie as it is, and maybe he's more of a presence in the book. I don't know. And I guess I will also say a big part of the reason that this movie did feel so real, and that I bought that these people were friends and really liked each other. The performances are amazing from these young actors. And I heard what the guy who played Gus is going to be in one of John's other books is getting made into a movie, and Gus is going to be back for that, which is great. I hope these actors can go on to do a lot more. I will say this as well. The last couple of times I've gone to see a movie in theaters, the audience has been kind of unresponsive. Didn't have much of a reaction to the film we were seeing, but this one was the first time in a while. Not only was there a lot of laughter in the beginning, but near the end, I could hear people all around me sniffling. And you know, I was included in that. I spent a lot of the end of this movie in tears. Yeah, which speaks to just how powerful it is, and how much you do become invested in these characters and their story. After a while, you know, you stop sort of thinking of them as cancer patients and just start thinking of them as people who have cancer, and you want to see good things happen for them, not just because, oh, you know, they're cancer patients so you feel bad for them, but because they're nice, fun people who, you know, genuinely enjoy each other's company, and you love them, and you want to see good things happen for them. So here's the thing. When it comes to writing an end for a story such as this, especially when you've presented it as, this is real life. In fantasy, we're a little more lenient on what kind of ending we're willing to accept. You know, even fantasy can feel too cheesy or too melodramatic, but you know, you can bend a little bit more on what feels real in fantasy. When it's real life, it's a much harder tightrope to walk. first of all, you have to get us to love the characters, which this movie absolutely did, but once you hook us in like that, then we want them to get a happy ending, but we also want an ending that's going to feel true. So, and if the ending is too happy, then it's not going to feel real. But at the same time, if the end is too overwrought with tragedy, it's going to feel, not real in the opposite direction. So how do you write an ending that's hopeful without being cheesy, and honest without being nihilistic? It's a difficult balance to achieve. And without going into detail, I think the end of this movie absolutely achieved it. I guess I'm not really sure how to rate this movie, because I can't imagine why you would go see it unless the story really captured your attention. And it does what you expect it to do. And when I say that, I don't mean you're going to see everything coming before it happens. There were some, genuine surprises in this movie, but it is the kind of movie and the kind of story that you would expect from a setup like this, but executed very well. At the same time, I don't know that there's anything so outstanding about it that I can say, oh yes, you absolutely should see this movie. If you're on the fence, yes, definitely see the movie. It is worth a look. So, I guess, for that reason, I will give it 2.5 stars out of 4. I know, the weekend is over, it's Monday, start of a new week. But I hope you had a good one, and I will see you on Saturday. Take care.
Are you angry?
So angry.
You need to break something.
You gave me a forever within the numbered days, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity.
It's a good life, Hazel Grace.
Okay.
Okay.